He's a huge infantilist furry. This is someone who draws baby anthropomorphic animals in disgusting situations. I'm not kidding. Once again, his name is Dave Kelly, and this is his page full of his lovely art. There are even some photos of the artist himself. Now, the link that appears right before this message is dead, but it was archived. Not only are there more furry self-portraits of Dave Bunny doing a lot of unsavory activities, but there are also other strange images here that appear to be Schmorky exposing himself to the camera, although their true origins were still murky at the time. If baby fur self-portraits where you're wearing diapers weren't bad enough for people who saw this, there were also a couple of what seemed to be chat logs of some kind of server. The first one showed someone named Bakaboo relentlessly attacking and humiliating Schmorky, prompting everyone else in the chat to defend him. The second one had Schmorky admitting that Bakaboo was him on an alternate account, implying that he had made an alt account to attack himself just so that he could see other people defending him. But despite how weird all of this made Schmorky look, it somehow wasn't subject to further investigation from the goons. And yes, that is what Something Awful users call themselves, goons. It would take another 4 years for an unknown user of the Encyclopedia Dramatica to create a page for Schmorky, exposing him for being a baby fur using other images that I presume also came from the same dump that Todd linked to. The page claims that Schmorky excused these images as being commissions because he had to. But who's really going to commission images of Schmorky himself as a furry in diapers? Unlike Todd's email, which was a one-off that only appeared in one thread, the Encyclopedia Dramatica page would stay up, like a prophetic monument to Schmorky's untold degeneracy. But once again, all of this flew under the radar and failed to affect Schmorky's career, as in that same year, he actually managed to reach new heights of recognition when he animated a video called Telephone Dog, which now sits at 2 million views. His reputation on Something Awful was still undisturbed, so much so that a couple of years later, he joined Lotax on his gaming channel, Gaming Garbage. And for a hot minute there, it seemed like the channel was well on its way to becoming a relatively successful one. That is, until the metamorphosis began. As early as just 1 year after they started frequently making Gaming Garbage videos together, Schmorky's voice changed from its normal sound.
What is this game again? Is Cry of a Crisis. I am Rich Lotax Kainka, and with me is
Schmorky to a high-pitched nasal squeak, almost like a cartoon character.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is just Schmorky again today, and today we play.
This voice change also coincided with even more interesting changes in Schmorky's persona, as Something Awful completely lost its relevance in the early 2010s due to the rise of much more polished and active competing social media sites. He slowly stopped caring about maintaining his identity from his time on the forums and began embracing his other side. Over on Tumblr, he took up a new name and began making a bunch of Clerf comics, often on the topic of gender and transgenderism, which also prominently depicted his characters in romantic exchanges with each other. It was also around this time that Schmorky began deliberately hiding his own age, as well as taking on the new identity of Daisy K, and making a habit out of wearing wigs and hats to conceal the fact that he was bald. Regardless of how jarring this whole thing was, the majority of Schmorky's community was now from Tumblr, as Something Awful was on its deathbed by this point. So during this period, Schmorky's new identity was pretty positively received. Meanwhile, he kept getting better and bigger animation gigs, 2 of them being animated renditions of Game Grumps episodes, which have since been made private, one of them being a cartoon for a TV show called Aquabats, and another one being a fully animated version of the This Is Fine meme, which was done for Adult Swim and currently sits at 6.5 million views on YouTube. As far as being recognized as an animator, Adult Swim is a pretty prestigious place to have your work. However, the dissonance between Schmorky and the Gaming Garbage channel audience was becoming increasingly unsustainable. So he further pivoted towards Tumblr, and at the same time, he also released an autobiographical comic depicting a very disturbing event. In it, Schmorky describes how he went through a rough patch after graduating in the year 2000, supposedly because the dot-com crash made it difficult for him to get online work. It's implied here that he got kicked out and had to live with some relatives of his during this period, and one of them, his uncle, is described as abusive, prompting Schmorky to try and find someone else to live with. So he hopped online and asked his online acquaintances if someone was willing to take him in, and promptly found someone. After giving this person his car as compensation for the months of rent he wouldn't be able to afford, the comic goes on to depict that this person he was living with was blackmailing him for sexual favors during his time there. It gets pretty graphic, and during Schmorky's retelling of events, he even claims that his friends didn't believe him when he told them about what was happening, and to escape his living situation, he had to go back to his relative's house. At this point, Schmorky describes himself as becoming extremely depressed, depicting himself as sleeping on a couch with junk food wrappers all around him. Supposedly, things got even worse.
Party time!
Stupid. imposed on U.S. trading partners impact
at this point in time, with his uncle getting angry to the point of physical violence. And once again, Schmorky ran away and had to find someone else to live with, where at that point he took, and I quote, every commission he could get, no matter how uncomfortable it made him. Now at the time, a lot of people felt bad for Schmorky, expressing how horrible of a situation this was. Meanwhile, others expressed a certain level of distrust, especially given the fact that he depicted himself as having to take any commission he could get, despite the fact that it's clear a lot of that not safe for work art was not done for commission, but instead done by himself out of personal interest. But criticism about Schmorky was once again pretty silent for the time being. That is, until 2016, when a new video went up on the Gaming Garbage channel entitled Why Schmorky is No Longer With Us. While the video itself focuses exclusively on his jarring voice change, people were pretty shocked by a comment that Lotax left under it. I'd like to point out that when Schmorky's girl or boyfriend was claiming that I hurt my children and was part of a Wiccan cabal that distributed illegal tapes that her father filmed of her as a kid, he messaged my wife and said that he was scared for his life. We then spent the next 8 hours trying to figure out where he lived and get the cops to show up to defuse the situation and hopefully take her away, as she was threatening to kill him. Every time the cops came, Schmorky refused to talk with them because, as he told my wife, he was too scared. But, and I swear to God this is true, he said he was silently mouthing the word help me to the officers, but unfortunately they didn't catch it. After spending the whole night trying to help him not get killed by his girlfriend, Schmorky finally manages to get himself to safety, at which point he stopped communicating with Lotax and his wife altogether. Instead, he went online and talked about what happened on Tumblr. And although many people sympathize with Schmorky's situation, Lotax closed off his comments by saying, never mind the fact that the whole reason his partner went nuts was because he made her stop taking her anti-schizophrenia drugs. Nothing is ever his fault, and the various injustices of the world conspire against him. He's a brave soldier for being able to carry on and survive in this cruel world. This changed everything, and it really attracted people's curiosity as to what his girlfriend, later revealed to be a girl named Amanda, would say about it when she was back on her medications. As Lotax said, Schmorky immediately went online to tell everyone about his situation, which included audio of his girlfriend having a mental breakdown from Tumblr.
Please don't touch me again, please.
I will. I'll never touch you again, okay? I'll never touch you again. I'll do what you want. What do you want me to do? I'll do whatever you want. What do you want from me?
Stop screaming and pretending.
I'm not forgetting. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight back. I can't fight back. Okay? If Hitler himself came here, he wouldn't be able to save me, alright? Nothing. And how? They're unbeatable. They're unstoppable. There is no answer. There is no answer to the Jewish question because they always win. They always win in their mind. They won.
Look, I don't want to put you in an institution, but I want you to get help, okay?
The goon speculated that his objective of sharing this was to make her look as bad as possible and to make himself look like the reasonable party. However, with the claims made from Lotax, people began to speculate that Schmorky could have created this situation himself. Eventually, someone made a post on the Something Awful forums asking about what happened to Schmorky's girlfriend, and about 10 posts in, she actually showed up. In her first post, she claimed that she had fled their apartment in Washington and gone to stay with her parents because she didn't want to be institutionalized as a consequence of what went down. After explaining that she had already found herself a job and was doing fine for herself, she updated others on Schmorky's status, claiming he was now living in a trailer in the middle of the woods with his parents. And according to her, it was the kind of place that would make Charles Manson pale. I went there once with Schmorky to meet his parents and brothers. The trailer isn't in a town or a trailer park. It's just deep in these dark, thick woods, down an unpaved trail with no civilization for miles and miles. He never shut up about how much privilege I had compared to him because he grew up in a trailer and no one cares about trans people in trailers. His family was very off. His mother is a short, trollish-looking woman with red hair and a very shrill voice. His father was an old, diabetic, wheelchair-bound man who just mumbled unintelligibly, not even making real sentences. He would say things like, fish fly high while the bumblebees cry, at random. I don't think he had dementia. I think he was just really high all the time. There was a weird thing on the wall of the room Schmork and I slept in. 3 children's drawings of gravestones. One with Schmorky's name, David Kelly, and his brothers, Chris and Lance. The gravestones had the year each was born, and that's how I found out Schmorky was 35 years old as opposed to 32. Why he felt the need to lie about such an insignificant number of years, I'll never understand. The trailer was kept the same way Schmorky likes to keep his house. A hoarder's paradise. Stuff everywhere. Kitty litter, piles of newspaper, old videos, all just thrown about. Meanwhile, the bathroom was so dirty you couldn't have paid me to take a shower in there. Interestingly enough, Schmork's parents were the Christian conservative type, and they called him David. Based on her description of the trailer being a cross between Resident Evil and the Final Fantasy house, You'd think that Schmorky was doomed from the start, but this really isn't the case. His brothers, Lance and Chris, apparently both lived normal lives despite their upbringing. She also added details about what it was like to live with Schmorky. For example, whenever they were going to leave the house, he spent an hour in the bathroom meticulously putting on makeup and positioning an extremely cheap yarn wig on his head, and this was such a common occurrence that she had to pee outside multiple times, since she absolutely couldn't bother him during this process. However, when they did leave the house, she had to drive him and do everything for him because he froze like a deer in headlights whenever he was around people who weren't his crew. According to her, this happened when he threatened to take himself out if she didn't take him to City Hall to change his name to Daisy, which he apparently needed to do because Facebook was asking him to use his real name and he didn't want to put David there. Regardless of the lengths he was willing to go to for his real life transformation into his clerf Sona, Amanda describes him as being very confusing and inconsistent, sometimes screaming at her for not treating him in a sufficiently feminine manner, other times accusing him of treating her like he was a pussy. This also didn't stop him from endlessly going on about gender politics and fantasizing about the day that women would take over by force. Additionally, he was extremely insecure
No,
and obsessed with his
dude,
self-image, refusing to
oh
wear anything that wasn't his own
God,
merchandise with his clerf characters on it, and going as far as to have Amanda
that
sleep in a
sucks.
different room because he didn't want to see her without his yarn wig on, despite the fact that she very well knew that he was bald. The other reason they'd have to sleep in different rooms is that he had night terrors, which Amanda talked about, since she, occasionally in the dead of night, heard frantic squeaking coming from his room. His obnoxious behavior and insane lifestyle wasn't limited to her either, as before he parted ways with Lotax, he'd apparently sleep in every day, get to work late, and when Lotax asked him to do anything, he claimed that it was a waste of his time and talent. In part, this kind of made sense because Something Awful was very much a dying medium at this point in time, but don't let that distract you from Schmorky's true motivation for refusing to work: his own laziness and ego. According to Amanda, he even turned down job offers from Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon because he demanded full creative control and wouldn't let them make any changes to his work, which in his case would necessarily be explicitly centered around his gender-related beliefs. When he was finally fired for his complete recklessness, let alone the fact that at this point, his animations and Something Awful of ours were no longer making any money, he simply came home and informed Amanda that she was now going to pay for half of the bills. When she told him he should look for a job, he began screaming at her about how no one in a regular job would respect his pronouns, and that he deserved something better since he was an artist. To make matters worse, whenever